Have you ever played a game of Fortnite Battle Royale, and maybe this happened? Or this? Perhaps this? Or maybe this? Or even this? Possibly this? Well, hopefully these tips can help you to becoming a better player. Okay, first things first, I want to say all these tips that you will see in the game are based off of my experience with the game and what I have seen players do. So without further ado, let's go ahead and hop straight into tip number 1. Keep a positive attitude. Now, I would say that is one of the main factors to becoming a better player because a lot of people, tend to rage in games or whatever. But if you're keeping a positive attitude, then you know that you want to get better. You want to have a positive motivation to getting better. You want to improve yourself. You're not just gonna play a game and then be like, okay, I quit this game, I'll come back to it like, I don't know, in a week or whatever. You want to have a positive attitude and what you want to achieve. Your sensitivity. Find what's right with your sensitivity. Now, I know a lot of players don't really mess with settings sometimes too much. They just go based off the default. But trust me, if you mess with your sensitivity, change your settings to what it suits you, it will help you a lot. And one thing that is kind of hard to play a game with is if you have high sensitivity. If you lower your sensitivity, then you can be more accurate within your shots. I used to have, I don't know, around 100 sensitivity actually. It was all the way cranked up, and then I turned it down to like 67. You have to move your mouse a little bit more because if you don't know what sensitivity is, it's basically how fast, how sensitive your mouse moves back and forth. So if you turn that down a little bit, you'll be more accurate within your shots and you should be good to hit more players. Use the right weapon and the right case. And now this is a big tip definitely if you're looking to become a better player, because I can't count how many times I've seen players use the wrong weapon in the wrong scenario. Like for example, in this clip that you're seeing right now, there's this person that's using a minigun against a base, which is perfectly fine. That's what the minigun is used for, but it's not in the right scenario because a lot of players tend to use the minigun to knock down bases. But if you're going against another team or squad or even in solos or whatever, that's an easy target to get sniped. So I would say only use the minigun up close to bases, or maybe if you're up close to a person, and that's the only time I would use it. Not really far away because that's an easy target to get sniped. So that's just one example. There's other examples where if you're using an assault rifle against a shotgun's probably gonna win the fight. You could get lucky. I mean, when the AR, not all of these tips are gonna be exact for your case, but most likely the shotgun would win that scenario. Learn how to build in the game. Now I know a lot of people wonder like if they really need to do this or not. I know PUBG is based off a game where you can't really build or anything, but in Fortnite you need to learn how to build because you're gonna come across players who are building super quick and super like around you and everything, and if you don't know how to build, you're just gonna be at the bottom and have like a great disadvantage of just being able to like get shotgunned or even rocket launched, just a whole bunch of different things if you don't know how to build. Plus, learning how to build can actually save you in matches sometimes. Maybe you were about to die by a squad or something, but somehow you take them all out because you built a super big tower or whatever. So learning how to build is a big key to the game. Now this is gonna be one I feel like some people are gonna disagree with, and you can have two point of views on it, but it's this thing called BMing, or if you don't know what BMing means, it stands for bad manners. I believe that's what it stands for. I totally didn't look that up or anything. But basically what bad manners means is, at least in this game, it's when you knock down someone. So this only applies to duos or squads. Solos this doesn't apply to at all. But in the team form of games, when you knock one of the opposing teammates, you know how like there's squads or duos or whatever, if you hit one of their teammates, don't kill them like immediately or whatever. I know I used to do this in the past, but I try not to do it too much now, because basically what you're doing, so there's two point of views on this. One point of view is the opposing point of view, which is not the point that I agree with too much anymore, but what my previous point of view used to be is if you're gonna go down, at least you're gonna take one of them down as well, and then they'll have have a less advantage of winning the game later. And although this is kind of true, it's kind of like an act of revenge a little bit if you think about it, and it can even cost you the game. So what I would just focus on, instead of killing their teammate, focus and try and see where the other person is at. Maybe there's some other people around that you could potentially get them, and then once you get both of them, then they both go down, you know? There's no one that can revive them or anything. I would only do this BMing thing if you know for a fact there's not like a squad or anyone nearby. Then I mean, obviously you can go in and get them because you're not just gonna leave them there or whatever. But this applies to the case where there's a whole bunch of people and a whole bunch of area and you knock down one of them. Focus on getting all of them instead of just eliminating one person. Always look for areas where you can kind of clean the other player. I know this kind of sounds like a bad tip, but many players do it to another, so why not just do it to them? Take advantage of when two people are fighting. Maybe you can just come and clean them so you don't have to worry about them later. Alright, and the last tip is, if none of these tips ended up working, hopefully this last one can work for you. See what you're doing wrong and fix it for the next game. Now, this can go into broad categories, kind of like a broad range of different things, but for example, if we take this to building, maybe you were like built up super high and you didn't have like the correct keybind or whatever to build super low. Maybe you want to change like a keybind to something different, a different letter or whatever, and then you can build down quicker or higher, either case. Taking it to shooting wise, maybe like sensitivity was one thing that you needed to change, or maybe you needed to react quicker to like different things around you. That's something that you would want to fix for the next game. Each different person is going to have a different case of what went wrong in their scenario, but if you realize your mistakes and you change them for the next game, then that won't happen again and you will become a better player. Overall, hopefully these tips helped you to becoming a better player in Fortnite Battle Royale, and maybe you can even become a pro within the game.